We all have the journey of who we are, right? This physical experience on this three-dimensional plane of reality. And we all, I think there's so many of us that had contrast in our youth, and a lot of us, the star seeds who, I mean, we're all star seeds, but the energy workers, the light workers now had to experience their contrast when they were young so that they can like step into this role now, and my youth was, I mean, there's lots of people that have had very, very challenging childhoods. I mean, I can't compare myself to that. Everyone's individual experience is so unique and different, right? But what I did learn was, that my father, as I was an adult, I started learning more about my father when I was a kid. And he struggled with adulthood. He struggled with addictions. He struggled with depression. And I was in a household where we were constantly like trying to appease him and, serve him and make sure that he was happy or that he was entertained or that he was, all those things. And you lose yourself in that when you're a kid. You lose yourself in trying to please your mother. You lose yourself because you don't want her to suffer. And you lose yourself in trying to please your father because you don't want anyone else in your little family unit to suffer. And there are times then, you have fear. And I always call those times maybe like little burnt, like tarnished or little bruises on our soul body that kind of like create the energetic frequency of who we are and maybe some of the patterns that we have in our life. And I, I am a 55-year-old woman and I am still not dealing with daddy issues, but they like created me, and made me maybe fearful or maybe lack confidence or maybe be self-conscious or maybe not know what kind of or level of love I wanted from a man because I had to journey through all those experiences of learning what I wanted each time higher and better and higher and better. And in my childhood, I received love from my family, from my mother's family. I received love from my mother, but I had this antiquated kind of, you know, strange love from my father. So it's a beautiful story when you look at the picture from here now back, because my father, he sparked my spiritual awakening journey, you know, and we come here in soul groups, and on the other side, we say, yeah, I'll play that role. And I'll do that for you, and I'll do that for you, and let me show up for you this way. Okay, okay. And you all come back, and my dad had to be, who he was and how he showed up. And I had to learn that contrast and have that experience, and then have the realization of who he was as when I was an adult to raising children and me, dealing with my own experience and relationship with alcohol and like seeing my different phases of my life and how I could relate to him in different ways. And then when he actually succumbed to it and died from alcoholism, he came in spirit form to spark my spiritual awakening journey. I mean, it's actually absolutely beautiful, right? I know,
That's
it's
so good.
cool. Yeah, it's so cool. And I was raised in the Catholic tradition, in the Italian tradition, and there was lots of religion, lots of traditions, family things, and it was it was a nice experience. I have nothing negative to say about that. I loved my family. I loved that part of my life, but as I started getting older, I wasn't resonating with the religion anymore, and I wasn't resonating with certain religious traditions that stem and go into the family, like baptism and CCD and the things that you take to your children. And I started forming my own opinions. I was just on Julie Reisler, USU podcast, and I heard myself talking about this in a different way than I never did before. I was poking holes in my perception and my reality. And like you start with one hole and then you're like, oh, I see something different in there. And then you're just like, you're poking all these holes until you have a completely new version of what it is that is your truth that you believe in and is something that you have a strong conviction about. And, and like I never knew I would do this. I never knew. We all have talents, we all have these abilities. Some of us came here knowing we were going to tap back into them to remember ourselves, to do something we contracted in another space and time to create now. And some of us have done that in other spaces and other times and other lifetimes. And basically, I started the remembering journey, and I started the, remembering who I am and why I came here and what I was here, what I'm here to help support. And that is to help spark, a billion souls on the planet. Like 5 years ago, I couldn't even say a million. It seemed like such a big, huge statement, but it's not. When I look at the word a million now, it's nothing. It's like, it's a speck because of 6 billion people on this planet. A million is nothing, right? And so that little version of myself in my youth had no idea what was to come in her future. She had no idea, and it's cool. The September channel message, I channel a message from the Great Council of Light. They're the guides that I work with. Last month, it's October now, but last month it was about honoring the different versions of yourself throughout your entire lifetime, here and now, and knowing that you showed up with exactly what you had at the time, having compassion and love and empathy for that version. And that's really truly it, working with whatever the tools are that are in your toolkit at that time. It's all perfect, because even though we may make choices in this lifetime, it's free will. We get to decide with every single choice that we have, love or fear. And depending on how much fear is resonating in our body, we might make more fearful choices. But as we decide to kind of push fear to the side and push through with love, we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger with that, and raising our frequency to have the ability to do more, remember more, serve more, like whatever the thing is. So that fearful version of myself was kind and loving and had friends and related mostly to adults. I related to adults more than my peers. And I think that it's just, an interesting kind of journey and exercise to look back on those times of our life. Yeah.
If this channel resonates with you, please subscribe.
All right. So you mentioned that when your father passed, you connected with him. Is he like part of your guidance as well now, or how is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a great question. So when I was going through my shift, I had the opportunity to go to a mediumship gallery, and it was this event. And at the time, all my friends were talking about it, and my life was actually shifting big time at that moment in my life. And I was losing my friends because I was starting to wake up, and I wasn't resonating with people. And this gallery came up, and I had expressed interest in going. I found out that everyone bought tickets without asking me. And I was really bummed. I was like, what do you mean? Like, of all the people in the group, like, I was supposed to go to that because I was just starting to like gobble up the breadcrumbs and like dive down the playlists, on YouTube and in the library and everything. And I was kind of like, that sucks. And then this woman called me. I can't remember if we texted back then. She called me and she said, listen, I can't go to this gallery. The ticket's yours. It's paid for. You could just have it. I don't even want the money for it. And that's how it happens, right, Natasha? It's like the magic happens. And my husband at the time was able to watch the kids, and like all of the pieces just went toot, 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 toot. And so I showed up to this gallery, and this man who came through, walked right in the front and looked at me, and he said, your father's here. He never told you I was raised as a musician. I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I'm a singer. I play instruments. And he said, your father is here, and he never told you how talented you were. And it was just like one of those moments of like, like, that's so specific. And he said, he was horrible to you, and he's so sorry, and he wished he could have done better, and he sees how you're showing up in your life, and all these very specific things. And I wound up like in a state of, there is life beyond this physical form. Like my father lives on, his spirit lives on. I didn't have labels for everything back then. I was just discovering it, and I was like, there's no denying that he exists somewhere. And I was on this path of like wanting more, learning more, experiencing more, reading, like all the things. And this man, his name was Rich Branconi in the States. I wound up seeing him every 6 months for about 10 years until I kind of didn't need his guidance. And like it all worked itself out. He wasn't doing readings and it just worked itself out. Actually, circle back. I'm going to be interviewing him on my podcast in December. And it's just so cool. That's another moment, right? That's another full circle moment where I get to share him with my spiritual community, which is just so cool. But that was, the beginning of it. That was really the beginning of it. And then my dad would come through as I started opening up my clair senses and hearing and seeing and knowing and sensing and all the things. My dad would come through and like talk to me, like in nuggets, in little clips and say, Pammy, Pammy. And I would hear him and I would be like half asleep, half awake. But he actually just came through because that guy, Rich, I told you about, no, he doesn't really do galleries anymore. I got an email that he did a gallery and I was like, why not? And I showed up and he went, Pamela. And I went, Rich. And my dad came through. He doesn't remember anything. My dad came through with very specific information. So I would say, yeah, he's on my team. He's on my team, he's coming through when he can. Still happening, it's cool. And that's how it goes.
You've done so much. You've done Reiki, you do energy healing, all of that stuff. I've interviewed quite a few people that have done like sound healing and energy healing. Why is it so important for people to know about it?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people, I I actually got trained in Reiki 1 years ago, but I never wanted to be a practitioner. When the channeling started in 2020, I was working really hard to release. There's a whole story about ayahuasca and a whole story about my clair senses opening up and then me being able to, heighten my frequency and then exchange information with these higher dimensional beings. And that channeling journey took a while. There was integration and physicality, all these things. But I had to be able to do that. I had to do energy work. I had to heal past life trauma, which is karmic energy, which is soul entrapments, which is frequency. And I did that with this collective group of angelic beings, these women, they're not women, but this feminine group of divine beings. And they would come in and they would work with me. And when I knew they would come in, it was this like effervescent, beautiful, loving, amazing frequency. When I knew that they were coming in, I was like, okay, hold on to your seat. Now we're going to do some deep work. And in my experience, and not everyone understands this, but in my experience, that's when I had to release. I talked about my childhood when you have those bruises and those bumps and those scratches on your soul body. That's this lifetime. Our soul body has imprintations from all of our lifetimes. So, in many, many, many lifetimes, I have tried to do the work that I'm doing right now, and it hasn't worked out very well for me. And so, I have a lot of trauma around my neck. I had a lot of karmic energy that needed to be released. When those women, those feminine beings would come in, we would go through a past life death. So I would have to experience it. I would have to actually have the physicality of it. I would have to release the emotion of it. Oh, all of it. And every time I did that for probably over a year, I raised my frequency, raised my frequency. This is what I'm teaching people to do now. I never aspired to do it. We talk about frequency. The Great Council wants nothing more than to help everyone understand about love, that we are all divine, omnipotent, beautiful beings of light, housed in this three-dimensional body, in this three-dimensional plane of existence. But we are not limited by this. We are so vast and beautiful. And they want you to learn that you have the ability to create your reality. You merely need to work on your frequency. and all of the things in your life contribute to your frequency. So that was what I taught for the longest time. And then this new thing started coming out. This extreme, these energy transmissions started coming out. I can feel it starting in my hands. I go in and I never knew I would do this. I just am walking this path of allowance and trusting and knowing and stepping into love and not fear. I go in and I'm actually able to shift the frequency in people to do an energy transmission to help heighten their frequency, but also these DNA and light code activations that are already inside of us to activate them. And when I do that, it shifts their soul body and it releases trauma. So they'll feel things like I just talked about with that I did with those divine feminine beings. I'm I'm doing it with the soul path coaching and mastermind people in my community that I work with. And they're having deep, deep healings and it's raising their frequency. Why is it important? The very beginning part of my journey, I started having visions. I started getting messages, predictions. I started seeing things about the future. I had dreams, I had visions, I had messages, I had knowings, I had all like, I mean, I really went through it in 2020 and since then. And I've journaled and I've drawn and I've put all of that. I put it in a notebook and I carried it. I didn't really share it with people. The council in 2020 told me to create a community. They told me the name of it, Spirit Calling. They told me that there's going to be an event that happens on our planet. People are going to stop in their tracks. They're not going to know who and what it is, the world that has been created. They're not going to know what's happened, and they're going to stop in their tracks and just see a glass ceiling break, and they need a place to land. So there's a myriad of things that could be. I've seen fake alien invasions. I've seen a world war, whatever number it is. This is in 2020. I've seen a stock market crash. I've seen darkness and then a complete reset. I've seen so many things. And so, there's all these different timelines and everybody's choices, individually and collectively shift this myriad of timelines. But the council wants you to work on your vibration merely so that you can stand strong in the face of this, in the face of this, and not be taken down by the frequency of it. Now, I live in the States. We've had many, and the guides have been talking about it since January. The unraveling was going to start in March, and it did. Natural disasters, 8.8 earthquake, tsunami warnings. We saw someone get massacred on social. They talk about that. They talk about it. They talked about all of the things up until that's happened now. And if you are able to manage your frequency and know that you shouldn't be consuming, you shouldn't be just meaninglessly looking and absorbing and talking and judging and eating, like all of the things that we do to hold ourselves in the highest regard and say, does this serve me? Does this serve my frequency? And that's what they want, that they wanted to do. Now they have me working and many others. You asked about energy healing on as being healer. Healing doesn't even, it's not the right word. It's activator. It's a transmission activator. I don't know what to call it. They told me it doesn't matter what I call it. So to just keep leaning into it and keep administering it and keep allowing it to flow, because the more, I just got another upgrade last week. Who knew? Who knew 2025 was going to be the year of me becoming this activator energy transit? Like, who knew? Right. And when I get these upgrades, it's like I come out of it like flu. I'm sick. I have extreme pain in my head, and I've got to integrate all of this. And then I go every month. I have a mastermind where people pay a monthly membership to be with me in a small container, and the council channels, and then the council does these transmissions, and people, they leave high like this, or they can't sleep all night, or they have these extreme experiences where they feel the energy being released from their body. And it's incredible. I mean, it's absolutely incredible to witness. They're having more connectivity, more vivid dreams, more alignment. alignments and synchronicities, more love, more opportunities in their life. And so that's why these sorts of things are important. We all have these energy centers that run through our body. There's main ones and then there's a ton of them. I can't claim to know all of them, nor do I want to. It's too much information. But we are frequency. That in itself is all you need to know. You know, the council says it's so easy. It's not systems and processes and checklists and all these things. It's just frequency, honoring and maintaining and elevating your frequency. And that's love.
Yeah.
So if yeah, yeah,
Would you say it's like what I've just found my new word, which is intentional living?
yeah, yes, absolutely. I agree with that. It's a very good way
Yeah.
to say it. Yeah,
Because
intentionality.
the old way was to react. And now it's to
Hmm.
say, where am I going to put my focus? Where am I going to spend
Hmm.
my energy and what's wasting it? Because every
Yeah.
moment is the moment that's going to either take me closer or pull me further away.
Yes, absolutely. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we kind of pull ourselves out of the situations, the conversations, and we get so easily absorbed in emotion and our trauma, our
Yeah.
trauma. There's nothing more painful than to watch someone dip right back into their trauma, and they don't have to. You can dip in, but you can pop back out and like realize it and then work on it and like and try to alleviate and assist and help yourself. And people who are not able to do that, they will get the ability to do it at some point, at some point on their journey. Maybe it's serving them right now. I don't know. It's everybody's experience is so different. But I just, going back to what I thought I would do or what I ever knew or thought I would do, I love, I love doing this. It's so cool to watch it evolve because I think my biggest job is to show everyone that I continually step and lean into it with faith and love, and I don't cower from it. So I share the premonitions, the visions, the downloads, and I say how freaking hard it is to do that. It was so hard to do that. And the moment I started doing it, everything started changing. The moment I started sharing myself, everything started changing. Because the biggest thing and we'll see on this podcast, the biggest thing that I hear, every single comment that I get, messages in my inbox, messages on my platforms, Pamela, I had an experience like that. I've done that. I've experienced that. Pamela, my story is so similar to you, but because that's my job. My job is to relate to the people who the glass ceiling breaks or they have this moment where they're starting to see through those holes. You know what I mean? And they want more and they want to expand and grow their soul and heal.
Yeah. Well, those are the people that are watching.
Yeah.
um, the Council of Light.
Hmm.
Who are they? And is it the same as the Galactic Federation of Light?
Yeah, such a good question. Someone inside of our mastermind asked that. I should probably read it. I could find that message. It's so good. Would you mind? I'll get it really quickly. It's amazing. No, they're definitely different, and they are super high frequency, ancient creator beings. And, when they first came into my life and my world. I didn't really know who they were. It was, work to calibrate, to be able to kind of work with them and understand who they were. And I just knew that the more that I raised my frequency, the more connection I had. And I remember the first time that they came in, it's like I raised my frequency to it. And I remember this energy like and it came right down. And I was doing light language, which I had never done before. And I know now that that was the council. And I listen sometimes to, I used to record and I used to draw the visions and I used to scribble all my notes and all the things. And recently I listened to one of the recordings and they have a catchphrase that they say, we are here, yes, indeed, we are here. And so in this one beginning recording, they were like, we, like they're trying to integrate with my physical and my voice box and my energy and, and, and it made me laugh and chuckle because it's taken a long time to be able to get out all of these things in the right place for anything to come out. Okay, so one of our community members who is in my mastermind, they're with the council, they are allowed to ask questions and have messages answered, so live or channeled. And this one says, when one considers the multiverse, this is the question. There are thousands, if not millions, of timelines, right? And these are his words. This his position. Are they all at critical junctions? Question mark. Why is the me here more important than the me elsewhere? How many councils are there? Do they work together? Galactic Federation of Light or Great Council of Light, dot, 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 dot. So many others. Here's their answer. Now it's a little long, but it's really good. Okay. It says, these are wondrous questions indeed, all of which deserve their own unique answer. Each omniverse has a critical state in the frequency of the entire consortium of spaces. There are many timelines moving simultaneously in tandem, each moving at its own frequency, each collectively and individually contributing to the frequency of the planetary systems of each space as a whole. There is no uniqueness between yourself and each space. They are all aspects of you in their unique frequency, which means you exist in different dimensions, different realities, different spaces, all at once or simultaneously. These are the way of the universe and the nature of cycles and energy. There is no time and space. It is all an illusion. You are an aspect of yourself in this reality. The aspect of yourself in another alternative reality is experiencing its own iteration of itself. All are moving at different times and speeds in different forms. Isn't it cool? Neither one is more important than the rest. All are pieces of each other, contributing to the entirety of who you are in the terms of the great I am. You are energy. You are merely aspecting in the three-dimensional space. You have chosen this experience in this reality as a life of experiences to learn about not judgment, love, the work that you were here to create or to reiterate, the relationship of son and child. That was his relationship. All of this will serve the other aspects of yourself in different realities, and they're all aspiring in their spaces. We see you are interested in understanding how we sit in relation to the other councils or groups of beings that offer guidance from different realms. There are different orders of beings with unique tasks or roles within the omniverse. In your physical reality, the Galactic Federation of Light are individuals from different groups of interdimensional beings who have formed an alliance to support Earth and humankind's evolution through contact and administering guidance. Some have aspected into your three-dimensional reality, much like Pamela, who is a part of this ancient council. We are different in regards to the measure of which we reach and who we touch. Our messages are here to serve humanity's evolution in a different way, through the realization of inner powers and realization of love. Our initiation into the three-dimensional reality was long ago. We created the human race to be an assistance to the evolution partners that needed assistance in growth and perpetuity. We live in perpetuity, never ceasing to support where it is needed. This iteration of your Earth is in the greatest shift that humankind has ever witnessed on the Earth's plane. The recreation of worlds and spaces that once lived will be brought to the surface once again. And then it talks all about me and my work with them. Isn't it cool?
You've done so much. You've done Reiki, you do energy healing, all of that stuff. I've interviewed quite a few people that have done like sound healing and energy healing. Why is it so important for people to know about it? You've done so much. You've done Reiki, you do energy healing, all of.
It's so true. We do forget. We're taught. We're taught to not. The council always says we're always busy, never looking up to all that is around us and understand that we are a piece and a part of it. because we're taught to be busy. We're taught to be, working and stressed and financial debt and overdrawn in all of our relationships and eating the wrong food and not like we're taught. We're told we're born into that. So that's the remembering process. It's really beautiful to see the
Would
difference.
would you say we're on the best possible timeline, or for where we are currently, not for where
I
we're
would
going to
say,
be?
yeah, I would say that whatever I mean, the only answer is that it's all perfect because no matter what happens, it has been said that humankind is going to prevail. They're going to shift into this future version, new Earth reality. It's already here. So the people who are aspecting and those of us who are living have 5D, 3D. I don't really like the term 5D, 3D, but it speaks to people. They understand what it means. um, we're already bridging that gap. We are already living in those higher frequencies. We are already connecting with our clairs. We are already in manifesting in creator mode. We already understand, like, we are living the future now. I'm manifesting so quickly now that I really need to watch my words because I'm pulling in like real, and we've been honoring it. Those of us who are really, I'm saying, living it. There's a lot of spiritual teachers who are teaching it, they're not embodying it. And when you are literally living it, embodying it, that is the being part. That is the being part. That is the frequency part. And that is what the council's talking about. So, whatever the answer to your question is, it's all perfect. And those of whom who are moving in that embodiment phase, they are already living their future timelines and they're already pulling it in. Um, the guides talk about a breakdown of all the systems that must happen and must occur. I mean, it's already happening. All the web is breaking. The used to accept people want new truths, new ways, new states of being, and so that other way is diminishing, and that means that light is occupying dark spaces. That whatever happens is going to serve humanity. Um,
You know what's
yeah,
sad for me is when I was younger, we used to go to the airport to watch the aeroplanes take off. And now you go to the airport and it's become
yeah.
such a hostile environment. And, there's
Mm.
security everywhere and they block you here and you can't take water in and you get fined if you're bringing food. And it goes so against our natural right, in my opinion, to move. And is that going to change in the foreseeable future, like in the next 5 to 10 years?
I'm not really sure. I mean, the guides talk about, I mean, as I was saying before, the guides talk about a breakdown of the systems, all, and I would include, that kind of restrictive behavior or rules and those sorts of things as a part of the system. That in order for that new earth frequency, that beautiful reality that they talk about, that we return to once again, like the days of Lemuria and all the other things that we've heard, that the natural order of everything needs to change. So that low frequency vibration that is entangling us is breaking down. And that's what's happening right now. Religion used to keep us in a certain restriction. People, they followed it. They followed the rules. They sat in guilt, and like all this stuff. Then, as religion was breaking down, social media came up and became this way of controlling us, controlling the narrative, controlling our occupying our mind. And if we're occupying our mind constantly, there's no space for divine intuition and connection to happen, creativity, you know? So, from what I've heard on all these various multiple opportunities for the future, that there's a breakdown, but there's also an opportunity for a lot of control to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know. And I hope that we don't get to some of these potential timelines. Like I've seen an outage of lights. And when when the lights come back on, the energy comes back on. We're moved into a social credit score system with a digital currency and checklists. You have to have your behavior has to meet a certain standard, or your bank accounts are tied to it. Your freedom is tied to it. Travel, like all the things, healthcare, food, and so I've seen that. I don't know what the potentials are. It's all of the choices we get to make. I've seen fake alien invasion. It's not a real invasion. It's a man-made invasion. It's a fear tactic. Look at what's happening in the world right now. One Eye Atlas, is that what it's called? Um, Three Eye Atlas. I don't, yeah, Three Eye Atlas. I mean, they've got the narrative. You don't see it on TV. You see it everywhere, occupying everywhere on social. Is it a craft? Is it the return of the Anunnaki? Is it a meteor? What is it? What is it? And people are in a fearful state. If it's not that, it's something else. There's something else occupying your mind, and there are tactics. We're told to fight against one each other. We're told to fight against our religion, to fight against our color, our race, to fight against our belief system in government, to fight against our sexuality and everything. And so they are the systems I'm talking about. They have to break down. And this, like, I've been told that moment happens, the glass ceiling breaks, and then everything shifts because embodiment happens in a mass way. Embodiment happens because when you are and you see a version of your reality that shifts like that, just like with COVID or 9/11 or those sorts of things, it changes your frequency. So imagine everyone seeing suddenly that they are not the only beings in this world, in this reality. It changes. The frequency changes. This expansion happens. Now think about that all over the planet. The frequency of the planet shifts. Everything shifts. So there are all potentials.
It's awesome. And I believe that it is going to happen because it's already
Yeah.
been, it has happened on certain timelines. But
Yeah.
I mean, they looked at, when they do their oracle reading or whatever to see what the outcome is. And I'm talking about the people that don't have our best interests at heart.
Yeah.
It ends, and it didn't matter what configuration, it ends
Mm-hmm.
every time. So there is no way
Every
for them
time.
to move forward. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you're in a higher frequency, you cannot operate.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
How would people stay out of fear and stay in themselves to not get sidetracked?
Yeah. It's a good question. I think that there's an evaluation that has to happen of your life. Really, truly. The guides talk about how do you heighten your frequency so that you don't sit in a state of fear. And a lot of people, they don't even know their frequency. Or maybe there's people that follow you and I. They've heard the term frequency. They know I like her vibes. I like her vibes. She's so cool, or whatever, whomever it is. Someone can relate to that statement. That's a frequency. So I talk about this constantly. If you're a musician and you hear someone playing guitar, they're plucking on a string. If they're hammering a piano string, that's a frequency. They're playing the violin. When the violin gets played, there's a certain frequency that I cry immediately because it hits your body. It entangles with you and you feel it. Not everyone understands what that means when it comes to them. So the guides say, do this exercise. Think about an experience in your life when you were a child that made you extremely happy. Close your eyes and think about it. See the picture of it. See the image of it. See the little movie inside of your head. Then pay attention to your body. How does that feel? It feels good. It feels expansive. It feels happy. That's love. Okay. Think about an experience in your childhood that made you scared, made you cower, recede, be fearful. It feels bad. That's low. So now on a scale of 1 to 10, with love and happy at the highest, now you have a measure to be able to take throughout your days. Do one day, and then every single experience that you have, give it a number, rate it. What's your day look like? What does your week look like? Improve the number. Improve the number. So you get to make these changes. You get to change that. And it might seem juvenile or elementary. But let me tell you something, it's going to be eye opening. It's going to be eye opening because you're going to be with someone that you spend a lot of time with in your life that you probably don't want to. And I'll tell you something right now, it's probably a family member, right? Or someone that's really close to you, like your boss or something. You're going to have a realization and be like, do I really want to make sure that I include that? Am I actually in charge of how much of that I let in my life? And so you start improving. You just take steps to improve. That goes into what are you spending your time doing? Are you doing high frequency things? Are you wasting your time on social doom scrolling? What are you spending time eating? Or what kind of food are you eating? Is it high frequency or is it crap? That's a low frequency. It's not honoring you. You know, you can use that scale with everything. What are your friendships like or your relationships? What's your work like? What's your marriage like? You know what I mean? All of it. And so you get to increase your frequency, which will help you with these fearful experiences. And we have them and we will always have them. It's a part of the contrast that's a part of our planet. It's just the way it is. God bless you. So it's just learning how to navigate them. And you are in charge of it. No one else is. You are. And when you start making those decisions and you start seeing your life change and the benefit of those decisions, you want to do it more and more. And you get to make little choices in the beginning, and then you have to make big choices. Like, does this work really serve me anymore? Does this marriage serve me anymore? Those sorts of things.
I love the way you've explained that because it's really doable. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody's had good and bad experiences, and it's just
Hmm.
a matter of checking in.
Yeah,
I actually
totally.
realized last year I was listening to, like, there's some songs that are nostalgic for me, but when I hear them, then I cry. And I thought, why on earth do I want to be crying? And it's a certain frequency. I don't know if it's D, is it D minor that makes you cry?
Maybe. Yeah, yeah. Those probably.
Sad, sad tone. No, so I just don't listen to it anymore because I don't want to be kickstarted into nostalgia. It doesn't serve me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just to be mindful, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's,
people will get better.
yeah.
Um, you mentioned that you remove blocks through the Akashic records. How do people can first of all people do it themselves? And how does it work? Like I know about the Akashic records, but
Hmm.
how do you remove blocks that way?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of someone that I'm working with in my soul path coaching program, which is you use the word intentionality or whatever. Um, it's really like if you have a desire and your heart is open to wanting to change, to wanting to have blocks removed, like you have to have that intention inside of you. That's a conviction, that's a desire, and you're showing the universe you want that. That's number one. Number two is when you sit in that space and then you work with someone like me, I'm not your average bird. I vibrate at a high frequency, and I have the council supporting that. They are a super high frequency collective of divine beings. Very purposeful work here. And when I work with someone in soul path coaching, I have them write a letter to their future self. So what is it that they desire? So I can identify some of those. It's not even me. It's they get brought to the surface. And then like someone might want to have a baby. And through guidance from the council, through divine messages, um, I work with them to see loved ones come out and present themselves. Inside of the message, past life stuff comes out. The deceased loved ones come, ancestral karma plays a role in a lot of some of the soul healing that needs to happen. So they show up and just with their presence, and they're not there to participate, but their energy participates. It's so cool. And so for this particular one, I actually go in and work on their body, their womb. Like I was actually inside of this woman's womb, energetically, and I could feel the energy happening. I could feel the work being moved on. It was so cool. So with that, with the ancestral karmic supporting, if you've ever done a soul retrieval session where they go back and they have to find the person who was the person who administered the karmic, um, pain. They have to talk about it and then retrieve it, and then you have to integrate it. And so, like that stuff is done. It's like it's happening much more quickly now because time is speeding up. But they are helping to release it. It's like they're participating. It's just the coolest thing. So then I'm also working with the council. They're downloading these meditations through me. And then they're participating when I'm recording them and they're infusing energy into them. So there's so many different ways that we're working with people, and everyone is so unique. One woman that I was working with came from a very difficult marriage, has started her life by herself, didn't know what she wanted to do with her work, has a really hard. She found her voice after 3 months. I'm clearing this trauma. It's like I'm polishing her up, and then her frequency changes every stinking time. She has her voice, she has her power. She is like a different person. I mean it. In 3 months, showing up for her daughter in a different way, showing up to her ex in a different way, showing up for her future in a different way. It's all the coolest thing. Um, I hope I answered your question because I get excited talking about the work.
Yes, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Would it be
There's just
similar to family constellations?
yeah, and I believe I think I heard Elizabeth April talking about it recently. I never heard. I don't really listen to her anymore. She was on somebody's podcast, and she was like, "To me, they're all the same thing: Akashic records, soul retrieval. Like they all just have different human labels put on them, but they're all elevating and healing the soul body, which is elevating your frequency, which is like, helping you connect to higher dimensions and higher frequencies in different dimensions. So that's where it all exists. Um, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's why I think I have a problem with labels. I can't label my work. I can only talk about what it is.
Yeah, because as soon as you do that, you put it in a box,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
and it's not a box.
No, it's someone else's words, someone else's box.
Is it too late for some people to wake up?
No, because they wake up when they're supposed to. So it's perfect timing. And so if some people don't wake up, then they weren't meant to, and they've got to do it another time. They just haven't done it yet. I know a lot of people who are not waking up, but they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. One is very close to me, you know.
Yeah, it's hard, especially after 2020,
Yeah,
when you see how people are so. I call it like a magic spell almost. Like
yeah,
they've got fairy dust on them. They're
do.
mesmerized,
Hmm.
hypnotized.
Yeah, I saw. Funny you should say that because I work from home and I had to get out on Friday. I just couldn't take it one more minute. I had to go to a bookstore, and I'm parking the car because I'm going to go work and get a coffee. And I'm leaving the parking lot, walking out to the public sidewalk, and this little family, mother, father, 2 young children, walking hand in hand, four across, happy, happy. They're walking outside in the fresh air, all four of them masked. And I don't understand why. It's because they have the fairy dust on them, and there's something in their reality that tells them, because of the level of fear inside of them, that they need to do that, no matter what it is. And maybe it's justified in their mind. Maybe someone's really recovering from a deep illness. I don't know what the situation is. But that was an example of something I see all the time in the state that I live in. It doesn't make sense, but yeah, that's what I mean about waking up.
Yeah, it's almost like, when we were younger and we believed in Santa. And
Hmm.
then you wake up one day and you start questioning, like, no, that can't be. Like, how does he fit in the
Hmm.
chimney? And,
How does
I
he
heard my
fly all of
parents,
one night? How does he get to everyone's house? It doesn't make
and,
sense.
and he's got such a big stomach. How? And why is he at the mall?
Right. How is he everywhere all at once? It doesn't make sense.
And then once you see it, then you're actually a bit annoyed because the adults lied and you trusted them. So you still want to keep getting the presents.
Hmm.
But you can't unlearn, you can't go back. And I think that's pretty much what it's like.
Yeah, you can't.
You see it and you can't go back. You can't say, well, it doesn't exist. I still want the benefit though. And I think that's what people are actually afraid of is that the world as they
Yeah.
know it will change. And that's the fear.
I
So they're
believe that
holding
to
on
be
to
true.
yeah, like they're holding on to that. I want to go back to the good old days cup thing.
Yeah,
And it wasn't the good old days.
right. To them, maybe it was because it was safe,
Yeah.
and it was. I do believe that there's generational conditioning. Like my mother's 80, and her generation, they do exactly what their doctor says, and they do everything like that's just what they were taught. So my generation, I was the disruptor in my family, right? But my generation, we started questioning things a little bit more, and every generation has their own thing, right? So, my kids who are 23 and going to be 21, they don't accept anything. Like they find their own truth. They've marched to their own beat. Like they are their own. Now, the babies that are coming on the planet are super high frequency. They're here for a specific role. I was told to channel a womb activation meditation. I think I just talked a little bit about it. And it was to help heal these wombs from generational trauma, this life trauma, sexual experiences, to release creativity. It's the altar of the womb. It's also for every age woman. There's women in my community, my age, that have dealt with rape, menopause. It is healing and raising the frequency of the womb, not only to carry higher vibrational beings, but to heal sexual trauma, to heal all of the things that happen in that center of your body and that chakra. Like it's profound, amazing work. Who knew I would be doing that this year? I can't wait to see what I do next year. And I
You'll
think
be
it's cool.
levitating.
I know I'll be levitating. You'll see me somewhere, Natasha. You'll be like, I talked to Pamela last year, and look at
There
her.
she went.
There she goes.
When you're around people, does it drain your energy? Like, or are you, because if you're on high frequency, it's going to go from high to low always, you know?
um, it's interesting. Some people increase me. Like if I'm around them, they feed me, so I get more energized. Um, no, typically people don't drain my energy. There's only specific people who do, and that's karmic stuff. Um, but generally, I'm really good at like awareness for myself. And there's certain people that really kind of trigger me, and there's patterns, and I have to work with them, with the patterns, not with the people, because I'm never going to change anybody, and they're there to be that trigger for me. But for the most part, no, I don't really get affected by other people's frequencies. Like I went to this a new place yesterday to do this workout thing to see if I liked them, and there were two facilitators there, a guy and a girl. The guy, my frequency is so high now, I can always see right in someone's soul when I'm in their presence. I could just see right through to their soul. But now I can look at objects and see the aura around them, which I never did before. I can look out and see the purple grid or whatever it is. I can see the outside of this dimension. This I can see it now with my eyes open. I was looking at the guy last night, and he was vibrating because I looked at him, I looked at her. It's so cool to witness it because he almost looked crystal clear, like so, like how you look at a television and it has that like super high, technology or whatever, and it looks like they're gonna jump out of the screen. That's what he looked like, and I witnessed it, and I was like, oh wow, this upgrade has changed how I'm seeing and feeling people too. It's really cool. It's interesting. And I think that everyone, as they shift and they raise their frequency, will know what I'm talking about because they'll have these moments.
That's awesome. Because I know the biggest problem with humanity at the moment is we cannot discern whether someone has your best interests at heart or not. We can't tell the truth from a lie. And so if you're able to see it and feel the vibration, you'd immediately know. You're able to tap
Yeah.
into that.
We tell
Okay.
everyone to challenge that because there's an immediate knowing, there's an immediate answer if you just allow it and honor it. You know immediately whether it's good or not. You just don't justify it and use your brain. You know something's off, you know. You have to honor it and really like that's the flexing the muscle thing. So I challenge someone who's listening now to allow yourself to receive that and honor it. Try it and watch it. Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it like benefit your life.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say is that people, we've been taught to be in our head all the time
Yeah.
and not trust our guts, not listen to our feelings. In fact, suppress them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff them.
Well, that was amazing. And how can people get hold of you if they want to
Oh,
connect?
thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. I live inside of that beautiful community that I created for everyone. I didn't build it for me. I built it for everyone else so that they have a safe place to feel loved, supported, a community of like-minded souls. You come into the community and people are like, "Welcome, welcome. You're gonna love it here. Welcome." Like it makes me so happy. I love watching everyone. Um, but it's a community. It's like a spiritual Facebook. You have a profile and you fill it out and you put your head shot in and there's groups that you can join. There's weekly live events. There's a custom curated sound healing inside. There are courses. I do a channel message from the council just for the community every single month. And so that happens, and I lead a call every month. And then I also have, which I think is the most amazing thing ever, this Awakening Accelerator Mastermind. If you're looking for a more elevated experience, it's a small container where everyone comes together. The council channels live and does the activations, the energy transmission, and the soul healing every month. And people are shifting very, very quickly. And I have my soul path coaching, which is one-on-one. It's twice a month for 3 months, and people come out completely different. That's at spirit-calling.com. And then my social channels. If you want to follow my videos and my updates and my premonitions and my all my stuff on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, it's at Spirit Calling Pamela. They're all the same. So I am right now most excited about the meditations that I have. A pineal gland activation meditation that is the bomb. It is the bomb. It is amazing. People are having amazing experiences, feeling the pressure, feeling the pineal gland actually. Like it's so cool. And then for women who are trying to conceive or release any sort of trauma, that womb activation meditation is cool. So it's spirit-calling.com. Thank you for letting me share that. It's my mission to touch as many people as possible. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll post all those links in the description.
Thank you.
You mentioned before the call that you wanted to discuss that people need to wake up now. It's no more messing around. Can you
Yeah.
just reiterate that urgency for us,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah. So the guide said in October, embodiment. That's what we've been talking about this whole time. So the days of attending, reading, watching, like you've learned. There's nothing wrong with learning, but you need to put it into practice. So everything we talked about, and if you can't remember what we talked about, watch it again, write some notes. It's start it's starting, you need to start to embody, put things into play, start activating and shifting your frequency. And that's really the name of the game right now. 100% embodiment. That's living it, living it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's even what the sages say and the gurus. It's
Yeah.
about bringing heaven to earth. It's no longer
Yes.
trying to reach heaven out there. it's living it as we are in our bodies. And,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have checked out because they just think it's too hard. And they think, oh,
Yeah.
I just want to die and I don't have to go through this anymore.
What's
But
you got to come
but
back and
that's
do
not
it again.
but that like kind of defeats the object. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like if you were playing a video game, you'd want the video game to end as the winner.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you know that this is how it works, I'm going to do my very best this lifetime, baby. Like I'm going to do my very best this lifetime. I really do. I want to show up and I don't know any other way to do it. And I want everyone to feel that way because when you start understanding it and you start really when your life starts changing and the right opportunities come, the right alignments happen, synchronicities, manifestation, like it's wonderful. You're in control of all of that. You are in control of all of that. You can have anything that you want. You need to match your frequency to it. It already exists. So if there's anything, if that's the reason that you do it for that, you know?
I love that.